Now that we have our steering column built, we have the chassis brace, and pretty much the chassis brace just fits right underneath the steering column. And all you have to do is really just make sure that everything lines up. And there's actually two screws that secure the chassis brace to the steering column, and then the carbon fiber shock tower for the Kyosho shocks actually fit just right on top of that. And that's all there is to that piece, really. So kind of interesting. It's not really that many components that hook into that front portion of that steering column. And what's interesting about the factory team steering column, we also have these flat washers and countersunk washers too. So in a sense that if you don't have the factory team steering column, you could also substitute it with the cap head screws in there. So let's go ahead and thread these guys in, and we're just going to go ahead and thread in these factory team components. I'm not a total fan of these countersunk washers because it's in case anything goes wrong, if you have to pull anything out, it's a little bit harder to pull out actually. So I'm just going to go ahead and get these guys lined up here. So we're going to go ahead and line these up. And I'm going to go ahead and line that up. There we go. So that's the way it should look when you have the factory team kit in the steering column. There we go. I'm just going to pull them out for now, and I'm going to go ahead and just prep for linking this up to the front panel. So everything is looking awesome so far. Pretty cool. I now have my chassis brace and my chassis, and they're all ready to go together. They're actually going to be linked through the chassis brace, and the chassis brace actually just goes right below my steering column and is actually just held together just by two simple screws. And they're actually just the flathead screws. You wouldn't want to use the cap head screws on the bottom here. And check it out. This is how it's going to fit. It's just going to fit right on top of this X Factory nose piece. And I'm going to put my two screws just right below here. And make sure you grab the flathead ones, and I'm just going to go ahead and just screw this through here. And it's kind of interesting. It's not like a whole lot of components are actually holding in the steering column with the X Factory nose piece. Just really very simple, very easy to do. So I'm just going to take my time, make sure that these plastic parts are fitting well, and you don't really want to rush the step because it's just kind of crucial that these three pieces here fit nicely. So I'm just going to take my time, have all the time in the world. I'm not racing, I'm just building, and I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that these components are going to be fitting quite well. And pretty much the next piece I'm going to discuss would be getting the rest of the steering column secure with the front nose piece. And it's really remarkable in the fact that it's not really a lot of screws that are holding everything together. So also, just so you know, the X Factory, that chassis, those front areas, that carbon fiber arms on that side, finally get secured in this step of the whole process, where you're linking those two pieces together. So in a sense that when we're building out the front part of the brace, this part wasn't secure, and we're actually now using this step now to secure everything. So take your time, make sure that this part is fitting well. I'm just doing just a quick easy screw here, and just another screw in here, and just taking my time, making sure that these things are fitting well. What you don't want to do is you don't want to like screw in everything very tightly at this point, because if you do mess up and things aren't aligning, you don't have a whole lot of room to adjust. So even before I tighten everything, I'm just checking the fitment of everything, making sure that everything is still working, making sure that the steering column is still going to steer and nothing is getting in the way. So be careful with this part of the step. Just make sure that, and be patient with this part of the step, making sure that everything is going to fit in nicely. If you do have any adjustment issues, now's the time to do it. Just, unscrew whatever is not working and then rebuild that part. There really isn't too many components here at this stage where everything is not going to be fitting in really well. So I'm going to go ahead and just take the time and just go through and finish screwing in the rest of this front steering column in here. And just take your time with it, really. Have fun with it. Here I'm just screwing in the front bulkhead, and there's actually 3 holes here, and what's kind of interesting is that you want to make sure that these are tight and that the fitment is actually going to be correct. And if the fitment isn't correct, it's your steering is going to be slightly off, actually. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that front bulkhead in correctly. And just so you know, in that middle column where the nose piece raises up, you're going to actually have to use a 40 or 4-40 tap and drill kit to get that component to fit. So as you're going to see here, where I'm going to be trying to get my standard one in, that flathead screw in with the factory team countersunk washer, this is actually not going to work out so great for me, because what I should have done is I should have actually got the tap and drill kit and set that up. So just so you know, I actually messed this up on my car, and it wasn't too fun pulling out the factory team countersunk washer where everything got stripped and kind of messed up. So I highly advise on your car to do the tap and drill first, make sure that everything's fitting correctly, then thread in the countersunk washer, and you should be all right. So don't make the same mistake I did.